Yes, I'm taking you guys on a walk with me. Welcome back, fam. Yes, it's me going for a walk wearing red Crocs. They're very comfy. I never had a pair until this year, and I've really enjoyed them. Um, I actually have two pairs now, but I realized they wear out pretty quickly if you walk an hour, at least every other day. So I'm gonna have to get some walking shoes or hiking shoes just because I really enjoy them. So I'll probably use them for gardening at the house. It was really cool going for my walk. I've been doing these walks either in the evening or in the morning. I prefer them in the morning because I can actually see, And I got the park all to myself, and that was incredible because there's always somebody there with walking a dog or walking or running. So it was really nice to get the whole park to myself, and be in my own thoughts and clear my mind. So I really do enjoy the walks because it clears my mind tremendously, especially because I got a lot going on in my life. So it's really nice to just kind of find peace.
Very good.
I volunteered to do a lecture for 30 minutes for my son's school on how I broke into animation and what animation meant to me, and then how that started and where I went to school. So I just kind of broke it down for them. I'm not sure if they all grasped everything. Maybe my terminology was a little higher than they might have expected, but I feel for the most part it went well, and most of the kids seemed to like it. And I got a few questions from a few of them. Even the instructor asked me a couple questions, so it was nice. Kind of getting more comfortable speaking in front of crowds, but I think because it was elementary school, I feel comfortable just being myself.
The wall's kind of bendy because the kid's so small that you get this fisheye lens happening. And I thought that was pretty cool. And to this day, I love Rugrat backgrounds because they're so cool. Because it's like so unique and stylistic. So, but anyways, good question. Yeah, I've been doing it a long time. Yes.
I have a sweater of Rugrats.
Oh, you have a Rugrats sweater? Awesome. It's probably collectible. Probably worth some money. Anybody else have a question?
Nope.
No? That's it? Any more for you? No? You have a lot of questions? You sure?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you guys.
So I got this assignment to do a skateboard, and I believe this is my second skateboard. And I wanted to keep this mistake I made here in there to show you that we all make mistakes, including me. Some people think, just because I'm working animation or I'm a fast painter or whatnot, I don't make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. Sometimes I experiment, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I nail it immediately. Other times it could be a challenge, something depending on how I feel, and that I sleep enough. Questions like that. Am I stressed? All those things kind of help my creativity, whether it be successful or not. So I try to be calm and cool and collective at all times to achieve my goals. Anyway, so yeah, so let's talk about the process. So what I did, I transferred a sketch onto the skateboard, a light sketch. You can barely see it, but it's there, and it's not like the whole drawing is in there. It's just enough parts of the character to kind of tell me what's what, arms, legs, because I didn't want to like mess up that varnish. And so I was like, I'm gonna try and keep it light, and I'm trying to have a clean, you know, illustration by the end of this. I don't want to have too much, sketch lines everywhere that that I missed. I tend to work a lot back and forth, back and forth. Like I'll start somewhere and then I'll jump somewhere else, and I just kind of keep piecing it together, piece by piece, just one shape, one piece with a character, and it just keeps coming together the more I keep working on it. I pre-select my colors, so I already know what I'm going to use for the eye color, or for the eye socket, or the shirt, the skin tone. So I have a pre-selected color scheme. Sometimes I'll change things because I'll think, okay, this isn't gonna work as well, or the color doesn't, I don't have that color, or doesn't match. Here, I want the pants are normally black, but I want to make them dark blue. I just thought it would work better with the character and the shirt. A note for you guys, these markers work great on acrylic paint. So if you have like a background that you painted and then you want to use these markers over it, it'll work perfect. But if you have an oil painting and then you want to use these markers over that, that's not going to work properly. It's going to be a mess. I don't recommend it. So just keep that in mind. Oils are very finicky, and I keep oils with oils. Uh, and acrylics are more durable. You can do a lot more. Awesome. I'm using POSCA markers. Um, they're like acrylic based. You can find them in any art store. You can find them online. I will show you some more on them, close up of the spelling and which colors that I used, and I'll show you also my sketch at the end as well that I used to do this illustration. Yeah. Also, another thing I'm going to talk to you guys about, is I like playing with darks against lights to create more contrast. So that's why I did like the dark pants, the light shirt, the light teeth, and then the mouth will be darker to make the teeth pop. Um, you know, it just creates a nice balance of darks and lights. And that's something I learned in art school as well, to play with darks and lights, warms and cools. Uh, you know, it just creates a nice balance, playfulness of color. You know, play with shapes. It creates certain colors again next to each other, create vibrancy. Some create contrast. If you want something kind of subdued, you basically gonna go more monochromatic. You have less vibration of color. So it's a lot you could do with color. There's a whole subject in color. There's like design, there's color, there's drawing, there's composition. It all goes together. And that's something I learned in art school. Um, when before art school, I went by color and rhythm of like letters or characters, but I wasn't trained classically, and until I went to art school and I realized some things I was doing instinctually, other things I learned by doing them, trial and error. Here, as you can see, I start coloring the character this kind of like Bart Simpson's yellow, because the original color that I have on most of my designs is kind of like off white, like a beige. But I noticed the contrast wouldn't be as strong with the eyes of the white of the eyes, and the skin tone. So I decided to make them like a Bart Simpson yellow, so that there'd be more popping going on. There'd just be more dramatic. It'd be easier to read his expression, and there'd be definitely a difference in value of his skin and his eyes. Here, I decided to use the black uh, to create more separation between both legs there as he's running. It was one shape of blue, and I said, okay, I'm going to break this up and give a little bit of shadow so that you can actually see that one leg's in front of the other, create that illusion in a cartoon form. And that's what I did that with the black right there. Taking the same black marker, I'm working on the arm, and I'm going to create the illusion that the forearm is in front of the shoulder. So here you're going to see that, and that was all with the line work. So That's how you do that. I'm not doing it with shape. I'm just doing it with line. And I'm using the smaller uh, POSCA marker because the larger one is way too big. It'll give me a fat outline, and I'll be less likely to do detail. Like right as I'm doing the smaller lines, you can see I have more control over it. It's not so bulky. If I wanted to thicken it up, I can go back, and double it or triple it. Here, I'm just trying to get the basic line work of the character and trying to do it with one stroke. Um, have it as clean as possible and just kind of like finessing little tiny details here and there. You can play with different colors for outlines. There's nothing wrong with breaking out of your routine. But I tend to use black a lot. I just love how no other color could really compete against it. So it just makes things pop. It's like bold. It's aggressive, and I tend to use it. And in animation, cartoons, a lot of characters throughout history have had just black outlines. I can play with this, and I probably will. I will do that. I will create different outline colors. But for this, I definitely wanted to use the black to separate it from that stain. That's very warm sienna color stain. And I felt like black would do really well, breaking it out. You know, Here I'm doing with white. I'm using doing a thought bubble, a cartoon thought bubble, or speech bubble. Uh, yeah, and as soon as I sketch, as you can see, I fill it in. Sometimes, if I'm not happy with the original shape, like this one, I made it larger. I figured I'd have it go behind the character a little bit, slightly, one to cover more space, to create a cool design shape. Here now I'm using kind of like a smoke dust cloud as he's running. He's producing this. He's creating this, and I'm not gonna make it solid. I'm kind of doing it like the graffiti way when you fill in a bubble letter, or you do a throw up. You just kind of like do really. You can see the stroke lines of the can. So here you show the stroke lines of the marker. I kind of want to create that a little bit of a effect. Now I'm gonna jump onto the eyes as to bring it out more, get rid of all that sienna inside the eyeball, and I put some stars, and I worked on the teeth, and here I added some little details, his eyebrows, eyelashes, some the gloves. I used a different color just to change it up a little bit. Signed it. Now I'm gonna work on tracing the signature with pink to get. I put little action lines around them, and the word "run," and just kind of little thought bubble. That's what he's thinking, or maybe he's yelling at somebody else, "Run!" So I kind of like how I did that sketch in the background. Here's the original drawing of Gary Marshmallow. That's the character's name, and he's a cutesy, you know, a fella. He's a little naive, but he's very, he means well. He's lighthearted. He's goofy. He's funny. Here's the Posca marker. That's the white one I use for the inside of the eyes, and this is the pink one I used like around his nose and around the letters, the tag. This is what I used for the skin tone, um, and then I used the blue for his shirt. Yeah, there it is, light blue. So just kind of showing you all the colors I use. That's for his pants. Um, I use that for that, to color that. And red for his tongue. Yeah, and you're going to see there's two different sizes. There's a small ones and a large one. Large ones to fill in faster. And then I got the smaller ones to kind of like do details or draw something. You can see they're a little bit bigger. There's the black that I use for the outline, which is a smaller black. Um, See, it's not as big as that red one you can see next to it. There's the pink. I use that for the majority of the inside of the nose. And light, smaller blue, like for a little detail. The PC-5M marker has a 2mm wide tapered bullet nib, great coverage, and suitable for detailed work. Contains non-toxic water-based paint. So, and the smaller one is the PC-3M, bullet shaped. I like the bullet shape. It works really well for drawing. If you want to get something for tags, you probably need like a beveled shape. Thank you everybody for your support, likes, and views. I hope you like my content. It just keeps inspiring me to make more. I like to share my talents, stuff I've learned, my past, what I'm doing now, my present. And yeah, I have a lot to give. Like I said, I want to give back. And you know, some of this information I had to pay for, you know, whether it was the college or working in the industry or learning on the job or, you know, be pre-art school. Yeah, so, you know, it really encourages me to keep going, and I want you guys to know that I have other stories I want to tell. I have some ideas for some spray can sessions. Today's was a marker session, and you know, I've just a plethora of you know, materials I want to go over, and I hope you stay tuned. You know, because I'm really enjoying this. And you know what they say: if you enjoy it, then do more of it, right? Yeah, it's so true. Again. Keep creating. Don't stop. Don't have anybody distract you, telling you can't do anything. A perfect example of what can be done, what can be achievable, and you know, and I've learned so many things along the way, and you will too. So just don't give up. Stay on the path. You know, I believe in you, and you need to believe in yourself. All right, all right. Just, have a good week, and I'll talk to you next time. All right, peace.